Andrew here, talking about comics from a reader, collector, speculator, investor point of view, in that order of importance to myself. Today I'm looking at some bargain bin stuff I picked up just before Christmas of 2025. There's a dealer that I wasn't going to go back to because he was getting out of the whole comic thing, getting into more in cards and comics. But he offered up this sale of 30% off of everything that he has in stock. Plus, you could also fill up a short box for $45. Said he got some new stuff over the late summer, fall, so I thought, you know what, I'm going to go check it out one more time. Unfortunately, a lot of the older stuff that he had picked up wasn't quite what I was looking for, but there was enough stuff for me to pick up one book here, which I'm showing you, as well as to fill a short box really with filler material, but there were some oddities in that as well. So this is the stuff that I picked up. And I'll start off with the book that I spent $30 on, and it's Amazing Adventures, issue number 1, featuring the Inhumans and the Black Widow from the early 70s. This was a series that ran for 39 issues. It started off as the dual type of series with two types of stories, in this case Inhumans and Black Widow. Astonishing Tales was also released around the same time, and it featured Doctor Doom and Kazar. This one goes on to feature the Beast, when he turns into a beast, a furry beast, first gray beast, and I think that's from issues like 11 through 17, and then the final 18 through 39 is all the adventures of Killraven from War of the Worlds. It's not a series that I'm particularly focused on, but finding an issue 1 in pretty sharp condition for $30 seemed like a pretty good deal. So this was the one book that I bought that was from the older stock. Well, it's not exactly the one. I also, when I was going through my Avengers stuff recently, realized that I was missing a couple of issues in the 200s, and by happenstance he had one of those two, and I bought this for $3. So Mighty Avengers 246, and then the rest of it. This is all the stuff that I picked up for in the short box, and this was all worked out to about 40 cents a book. There were some titles that I collect, and other ones that I was just, well, you know what? Let's find out what this is all about. So we start off with The Witching. It's a Vertigo title. I tend to like Vertigo titles. They offer up something different as far as the story is concerned. It's not generally superhero based, but there is elements of supernatural in some of the tales that they tell, and what have you. And you know, I like the idea of reading this. Sure, the artwork looks kind of interesting. I do like that cover. I don't know where we're going with this story or what it's all about, but I managed to pick up a few issues towards this series, so I will get a general feeling of it once I read it. And as I say, it does look interesting. It is a Vertigo title, and I've liked the cover artwork. And again, this is continuing on with sort of the Sandman line. I don't know if it's, the Witching is part of that as well, but Bill Willingham, which we'll see again later on in this video, this is a part of a 4-part series, and why not? Always looking for the Dynamite books. They did Red Sonja, Dejah Thoris. So I do like the John Carter stories. So why not? One of the Avengers books. Now I'm trying to get all kinds of Avengers material. This one's not big focus on the radar, but it is an Avengers book, and it is a book that I didn't have, so why not? It's written by Kelly DeConnick, and I know there are some people that really hate her and her politics, and it's like I'm not there. I don't do that. I'm interested to see what she has to write about and what she has to say. So I thought I'd pick that one up. Picked up some X-Men books as well. I'm not. I don't have a strong X-Men collection. In some areas, yes, X Factor, New Mutants, but not a lot of the main body of the X-Men. I did pick up a couple of Astonishing X-Men earlier, written by Joss Whedon, illustrated by John Cassidy. And I liked what I was reading there, so picking up a few of those to add to that is a welcome addition. I'm going to look forward to reading this whole thing once I get this particular part of the run complete. I do like that cover. I think it's a sharp cover. And here we've switched already from who's his name again? Oh yes, Joss Whedon to Warren Ellis, again another writer that I like. So interested to see where we're going there. And I'm not familiar with Daniel Way, so we'll see what happens with that. Always working on the Ultimate collection. Now, I haven't bought any of the new Ultimate stuff, the Ultimate blind bags and all that sort of stuff. You know, I'm not on board for all of that. I am collecting some of the older material. This is, I believe, from the third series of Ultimate Comics, and there was a chunk of X-Men stuff there. So I thought I would pick all of that. I think it's Nick Spencer that's doing the writing, and it might be Angel Medina that's doing the artwork. But again, I've liked the Ultimate X-Men. I'm currently working on that as far as reading it and what have you, rereading it. So yeah, picking up a lot of this stuff was good. I enjoyed doing that. And there was a sizable chunk of it, and at only 40 cents a piece, I figure it's worth it for a good read. And that's issue number 21. That looks something like the Iron Patriot. So there was, as you can see, there was a fairly significant number of books in this run that I managed to pick up. And again, as I say, Uncanny X-Men, I don't have a ton of it, so I can pick up stuff randomly from wherever. This is issue number, 327. Okay, and then I get up with a 396. So a long way to go to complete that one, that's for sure. And 424, written by, I think it's Chuck Austin, probably illustrated by Ron Garney. And here we got one that's 447, written by Chris Claremont, probably illustrated by Alan Davis. And then, of course, Grant Morrison did a batch of stuff on the new X-Men, and I have a couple of books from that particular run, and I did like it as well. So it looks like there's a lot of good reading material here, and it'll get me a little bit more into the X-Men sort of thing. All right, stack one. Let's go with stack two. So this I know nothing about. I just see that it's written by Warren Ellis again, a writer that I like, from Avatar Press. I haven't. I am working on books from Avatar Press. They have interesting stuff with their material. So I thought I'd give that a whirl. This is one of the few books that I picked up on a collection that I'm actively, and when I say actively, I mean I'm actively looking for all of this stuff. But it's like when I go to a convention or a store or a sale, these books are some of the first that I'm looking for. In a dollar bin, I will look for the Green Arrow material before I would look for, say, the Uncanny X-Men material, because I'm actively trying to collect this series. So finding one was pretty good. And Checkmate's another one that I want to complete the second series. This one's written by Greg Rucka, because I found that the first series was not all that good, and I didn't find it that entertaining, but I really did like the second series. I'm trying to put that all together so I can read the whole thing. And as I said, I picked up some strange, odd books that I hadn't seen before, and kind of a rare, like this one here. It's, what is it, a 5-issue series, or 4-issue series called, etc. No idea, absolutely no idea what it's about. It's by Piranha Press, which is an imprint, I believe, of DC, and they did Beautiful Stories for Ugly People. So we'll see what that one's all about, just the one issue. And again, this one looked kind of interesting, an issue number 1 of something called The Empty. I don't know who Jimmy Robinson is, but I did like the cover. I liked the composition, the style, the colors, the illustration. Again, the Eternals, I'm not really focused on buying anything from the Eternals, but you're filling a short box with, 40-cent books. You'll pack it in with stuff that you're interested in or could be interested in, and there could be something interesting happening here. So this is issue number 3, and this is issue number 3. Okay, so this is the variant copy of issue number 3, and honestly, that to me is the better cover. This is just a headshot that, big deal. But I just picked it up because it was, as I say, I don't have that many variants. Let's get one for 40 cents. Deadman's always been an interesting character. I had no idea that he did another one, but it's part of the Vertigo line. It is written by Bruce Jones, so we'll give this one a whirl. I got a couple of issues towards that run. Part of the Max line, Dominic Fortune, the fortune hunter from the 30s or 40s, maybe the 50s. I can't remember where it was, but sure, Howard Chaykin. Howard Chaykin doing the story. Sure, this is book 2 of 4. A long way to go for that one. Conclusion to the Exodus storyline involving the Dark Avengers and the Uncanny X-Men. Well, I like the Dark Avengers, so. This is a mutant book as well, The Brotherhood. I think I have like the first issue of this. It's a short series, maybe only be a mini series of 4 issues long, but I'll pick that one up. And I know that there was a lot of books around the Annihilation Conquest. I barely scratched the surface on that one. So finding another one, this is book 2 of 4. A lot of, well, there's been enough good press about this series, American Vampire, written by Scott Snyder, illustrated by Raphael Albuquerque. So, again, picking up some of these American Vampires at a real low cost was a pretty good deal. I do like a good horror story, and it is part of the, I was going to say it's part of the Vertigo line. Yes, it is. It's part of the Vertigo line, so it's going to be, more twisted than your traditional horror style book. So I'm interested in it. And again, it's not just American Vampire. This is second cycle, so this would be like a second series, a third series. I don't know I don't know the timeline of these books. I think there's about 40 or 50 American Vampire books out there. So, well, get a good chance to get a read of this. Again, more Avengers material. Always looking at, as I said, we already saw Avengers Assemble, and this is Uncanny Avengers and Savage Avengers. Those 3 titles, and there's a couple of others. I'm not really focused so much on, but I will pick them up when I see a chance, especially at 40 cents a piece. So. Continue on. I'd like to get all of the books connected with Siege. I found the Siege storyline was pretty interesting. I actually, at first, the whole idea of Asgard coming down and floating over Ohio just seemed a little odd, but I really liked the way that worked out and the whole ending with the Siege and what have you, so interested to read that. I know of David Lapham. I know of Stray Bullets. This looks like it was a spin-off of that series, which was originally through Al Capitan Books, but as you can see, it's now attached to Image, maybe a little bit of a higher profile, but we'll give that a read. Solo, I believe that was a character that came through Marvel Comics Presents, so here he is in his own book. Okay. And again, another series. I liked the Titans, the new Titans, mainly from the 80s run. But I've been filling in everything since then in little bits and pieces. And this is a little bit. I'm fortunate enough that I bought the first appearance of Lobo over in Omega Men 3 a long time ago. Like we're talking 15 years ago or something like that for like $2. And I got the original miniseries as well, and a lot of his appearances in Legion. So here is one of the, I think it's the second miniseries that came out, maybe the third. Anyways, there's 3 books that I got to it. It's a 4-issue series, So once again, for 40 cents a piece, why not? This is Aztec Ace by Doug Mensch from Eclipse Comics. And now I had heard about this because I was doing some research about Eclipse and some of their titles, and this was one of the earlier ones, but I had never seen a copy of Aztec Ace in any of these dollar bins. And this is the first issue. I know it's all dinged up and stuff like that, but I'm curious. So for the curiosity's sake, I'll buy this, and then I found a second issue as well. Is it any good? I have absolutely no idea. It's not something that I would normally have picked up, but... And there was this 2-issue series based on the film Independence Day. I do like some of these movie books, just out of curiosity's sake. This one, never, never heard this. I know there's the Marvel zombies and what have you, but here we got these zombies Christmas Carol. Never heard of it. It's a 5-issue miniseries. This is issue number 2, and I have issue number 4. Is it any good? I don't know. It's funny though. I find it funny. Zombies Christmas Carol. I once had The Last American, got rid of The Last American, and now I picked up 3 of the 4 because I think I'd like to read it again. It's time has passed, and it wasn't that it was a bad series the first time around. It just didn't have a big effect, and I was cleaning out, and I may clean out again still. But I did like the whole style of the artwork. I believe it's Ted McKeever doing the artwork on this, and I've grown an appreciation of his style. So I'd be interested to reread and relook at some of the artworks involved in this. This was one of those strange books I was unexpected for. Female Force. This is a banner, and they've done this company here, Blue Water Comics. They've done, I don't know, a dozen prominent ladies in politics and in education and wherever else. So I've never seen this particular book, so I thought, okay, that's rather bizarre. Marvel did a sort of a fun and games sort of book. There was like 11 or 12 issues in this particular run, were just puzzles and games, and a lot of it is word searches and mazes, and there's some stuff that's keyed into it, but you get illustrations of some of the various characters within the book itself. This one, nobody had filled in any of the work on it, so it's a clean copy on the inside as well. And as I said, ran for about 11 or 12 issues. I love this. Pinocchio and the Emperor of the Night, based on this spectacular new film from Filmation. I, for the life of me, never, ever remember seeing anything at all about Pinocchio and the Emperor of the Night. When I did look it up to see, what is this movie all about, it failed miserably at the box office and was quickly shuffled aside. But hey, there's an official comic book adaptation of that, and I have it now. Oh yeah, back into the Ultimate world again with this was from the second volume of Ultimate. After the first, and again working on all things Ultimate. Always like a good Captain America. There wasn't any other. This is it for Captain America that I could find in all of the boxes that he had, and we'll check it out. This is issue 3 of Super Soldier and issue number 4. Written by Ed Brubaker, so. Tom Strong, part of the America's Best Comics, the line that was developed by Alan Moore, but this is not written by Alan Moore, so it's a 6-issue series. I like Tom Strong enough. This was a Max comic, so this was sort of like their mature line for Marvel Comics, and it's a Western where they decided that we're going to make the Rawhide Kid gay and tell this story. I have no idea. Are we doing this seriously, or is this like a parody? Is this fun? It looks like it's supposed to be, taken with a tongue-in-cheek type of thing for the series, but what the heck? It was all there for 40 cents. I think I got 3 of the 5. Rebels, I know that Rebels originally was a series that followed after Legion, Legion, which had, was with Vril Dox, and Lobo was part of that band and all that sort of stuff, which ran for about 70 issues. I really liked that series. It developed into a book called Rebels, and I'm wondering if this is, a revamp of Rebels. Part of the Blackest Night as well, so. This is, again, Supreme Power. I just did a video on Supreme Power. Nighthawk is one of the characters involved in there. And the timeline there is all kind of funky as well, but I like the character, and so let's just try this one out. Again, I don't know enough about Inhumanity. I think it's when everybody becomes an inhuman if they're exposed to the mists. And last batch here. All of this stuff, $45. That's a pretty good deal. Yeah, so as I say, I mean, this stuff was all $45. A lot of it is little odds and ends and weird bits and pieces, and some stuff that I'll actually read and put into my collection. But I do like to find some odd things from time to time. This was another one. Figment was when the Epcot Center, Disney's Epcot Center, opened up. They had the one of the attractions was, I think, was the World of Imagination, and the mascot was Figment. So there were two series based on Figment, this one and another one, and they're both 5 issues long. So why not? Just a photo cover of the Honeymooners. I think it was just like a one and done story for this. This is not an old book. This is from the 80s. Now, I don't have any of the work on Fables, but I have heard nothing but good things about Fables. So I managed to pick up, I don't know, however many are here, 5 or 6, maybe 7, from Fables, just to try it all out. It's the right price. The right price to try out a book. And that's one of the things, when you get a deal on certain books, even if you go to a 50-cent bin or a dollar bin, this is a good time to try out some stuff that you were thinking about, but unsure about, because it's really inexpensive. And if you really don't like it and say this is really not my cup of tea, you just bundle it back up and bring it to a thrift store, put it at the end of the street. Some of you can sell it on eBay if you want, whatever it is, but you don't have to keep it. It's really inexpensive, so it's a good time to try this stuff out. But as I say, I heard lots of good things about Fables, so I bought a lot of Fables. And once again, still working on Ultimate. This is from the first series of Ultimate, from Ultimate Origins. Speaking about the X stuff, again, this Excalibur I'm sort of working on. I mean, it's everywhere you go, you will find Excalibur books. So sometimes when I'm just looking to fill something, or if I'm counting down, I got like 47 books and I wanted to buy 50, and I see some Excalibur 1, 2, 3, I'll pick some of those up. Same thing here, and there was a second series of Excalibur as well. Looks like it was written by Chris Claremont. A Civil War book. Every once in a while, a Civil War book shows up that I didn't know was in existence, or I haven't got. This was one of those. It's just, oh, okay, I didn't see this one before. So again, this is another Vertigo title with Shade. Again, it's written by Peter Milligan, and I like Peter Milligan's material. So there were a few issues of Shade that I thought I would pick up. So we'll see how this story goes. Now, I read the Vertigo, or parts of the Vertigo Unknown Soldier from the 2000s, I think it was. And it was a darker story. I don't know enough about the Unknown. I know that series, well, I'm pretty sure that series was a standalone series that had nothing to do with this series, which was, written in the 80s, 90s, something like that. And this ran for like 12 issues or something like that. Yeah, it is a 12-part series. So I don't know how this is. I like the other one. Will I like this one? Don't know. John Sable Freelance, always looking to complete that one. There's about 50, 60 of those books in there. So getting one was fine. I had heard about The Trouble with Girls. Actually, there's a second one in here as well. Again, for 40 cents, let's give it a whirl. Okay, so this is from Blackthorn Publishing. I don't have a lot from Blackthorn Publishing. I don't see a lot. And it's an issue number 1 of something called Laughing Gas. So when the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles came out and became so successful, there were a bunch of books released that sort of tried to capitalize on that idea. You have your adolescent radioactive black belt hamsters, you have your colossal nuclear bambino samurai snails, etc., etc. So they thought if they could just sort of mimic the title of the mutant turtles, that they might have the same success. But the difference was that the Mutant Turtles actually had a story and had creatives that had something to say. This is just really, really bad writing and mediocre at best artwork. But here I got Laughing Gas issue number 1 that features 5 of these, knockoffs. Sledgehammer was a series back in what the 80s. It was sort of a parody on cops, cop show and what have you. And there were two issues devoted to Sledgehammer. So I thought, yeah, okay, I'll pick up number one. Jonah Hex. I had I think this is like book two that I have of Jonah Hex. But again, one of those characters that seems interesting enough that I'll pick up a book from now and then. There was the other Lester Girls book from Eternity. Oh yeah, I've got one newspaper from the Pulse. This looks like it was a second one. So again, sort of a promo throwaway stuff, and interesting that somebody still kept it. I'll keep it too. And then finally, we got this one here, the No Prize book with the Night Nurse on it. So it could be collectible just for the Night Nurse. But the No Prize book is, Marvel made a number of mistakes throughout its history and inside, like as far as artwork, like Reed Richards drawn with two left hands, Common saying, I'm doing this with my gloved hands, and then the next panel there's no gloves on his hands, that sort of thing. So they sort of point out all of these known errors, a handful of them anyways, and call it the No Prize book. So an interesting collection. I'm going to have some good reading in there. Some of these books are a little bit strange. This one has, believe it or not, a little bit of value just because it is such an oddity. And same thing with the Sledgehammer one. Although the conditions of this is not like a 9.8, so the value is decreased significantly. But still, at 40 cents a piece, it was a pretty good deal. So that's it. That's what I bought just before Christmas at this little sale. And I hope you enjoyed. Until then, be good to yourself and be good to others, and we'll talk again soon.